Good morning, Kritika. Good morning, everyone.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I can see quite a lot of us have joined. Hi, Mayuresh, Ramanand. Ramanand, is that you?
Yeah, Kritika, it's me, Ramanand here.
Okay. It says Mayuresh. All right. Um, hi, I can see so many names. All right. I think people are rapidly joining, so we can start the session in 8:05. But since I'm here, how many of you know me? Anybody who's recently joined us? Anyone who does not know who I am? Kritika here. Okay, so I'm assuming everyone knows me. We have interacted earlier, so we know how the session goes. You're supposed to ask me a lot of questions, and you're supposed to be super interactive. Make sure the session does not get over in 1 hour. First session. Okay, we have some fresh learners here. Oh, it's really nice how we have some fresh learners here. So, guys, let's make sure that if you have questions, put them on chat. If it's relevant to what I'm talking about immediately, I'll take it up. Otherwise, I'll park it towards the and take it up towards the end of the session. But I will answer or rather respond to every question you have. So don't worry about that. Actually, while you guys are while we are waiting for our friends to join, let me share the workbook link, and all of you can just make sure you have a copy of yours. Prangya, I will mention, I will tell you guys what we have to do about this. So don't worry, I will explain. Okay, so I hope all of you have a version of your workbook. For the one who have recently joined, there is a workbook that we maintain. It has activities that we do after every session with, ideally every session that is related to careers, but sometimes it could be just a session after any internal mentor session. And when we say internal mentor, it's usually me. So if there is a session that I'm conducting, I usually give some activity. So you can, I would say, um, practice everything that you learn with me. So you can practice. There will be some takeaways when you do the workbook. You'll be able to implement a lot that you pick up from the session. So these are some activities that you have to do. What we can do is make sure you have a hard copy of it, not a hard copy, I would say a copy on your hard drive, like a local drive, or you can have it on your own drive. Either case, don't try to edit this file because this is a view access I've given to all of you. If you request for edit access, I won't be able to give that. There are clear instructions on top of on how you can just edit, you can create a version for yourself. For today, we're going to pick up the resume subsheet. Is anybody facing a problem over there? You guys can see it, right? You did not get the link. No, you can access the sheet, right? That's all I'm asking. I haven't shared my screen yet. Let me share my screen. Yeah, I can see a lot of you have joined here. I think some of you are asking which link. Let me share that again. Thank you, Bhavisha. Okay, so you guys have this link. This is something that you will have to complete after the session today. And once you have this ready, you'll be able to make any resume you want using any format, any template. And it's like, it's almost psychoeducative. It's like that. Once you prepare the first version, you can keep adding more information to this as in when you develop a new skill or do a new project or you do anything new, you can keep adding that to this, and you can maintain this sheet for throughout your career for that matter. You can always have this ready with you, this particular sheet. All righty, I will again a quick hi to everyone who has joined, and this is the last time I'm saying hi. Let's start. Oh, okay. All right, so today we're going to discuss how to build a resume. I know that because of the pandemic, the requirements have changed sometimes. The kind of skills they expect, the kind of things they look at on the resume have also changed. So there will be some tweaks that I might not have done to the presentation, but I will talk about it when I'm discussing certain areas. So make sure you're attentive, and if I have not made changes to the presentation, at least make note of it when I'm talking. Okay, so why do you need an impressive resume? It's a question. Why do you guys think you need an impressive resume? Quickly put something on chat. Okay, to stand apart, okay, to get noticed, interview call, showcase skills, high chance of screening, shortlist, to get picked by recruiters, to attract employers. Yeah, so yes, definitely you need an impressive resume to get shortlisted for an interview. It is the first step before you get an interview. A lot of times we are like, yeah, एक बार एक interview मिल जाए, I will be able to perform really well once I get a once I get an opportunity to really showcase my skills in an interview. I'll do well and I can crack a job. But the real problem lies when you're not getting shortlisted because your resume is not standing apart. It's not, no one's noticing your resume in a pile of 200 other resumes. So we definitely need to make sure that it stands apart from others. It is, yes, the first impression of yourself to any recruiter, and it is also a great way to advertise yourself in the job market. Very rightly mentioned, I think, good pointers there. So it has to be a reflection of who you really are. Your resume should be about you. I will show you some templates today, like not templates, I'll show you some good resumes that I've seen in my career in data sciences, not as a data scientist, but what I've seen from people who have transitioned. I will share some of those with you. But then again, those are their resume. It's not going to be yours. So make sure when I show you a resume, you learn how to probably frame yours. But the pointers cannot be the same. Your resume has to be a reflection of who you truly are. And then it has to be your avatar in the system. So it's almost like if I look at a resume, I should get a very good idea of let me take Harsh. Okay, it should give me a very good idea of who Harsh is. It should give me a nice glimpse of what I will probably look at when I open his LinkedIn. It should give me a small trailer or a glimpse of everything that he's going to put on his LinkedIn, and it should give me a very good idea about everything he has done in his career. So that is the kind of representation we are looking at when we're looking at a resume. So be very, I would say, careful about what you put in over there. I mean, there are certain things I will reiterate throughout the session. So those are like really important things to do. Okay, so these are the different steps in job search. I want you to tell me in which part does the resume play an important role? These are all different steps. Which step uh, is the most important for, is where resume is really important? Okay, application screening. Okay. Search a job and apply. Anybody else? Okay, we got this wrong. Where does a resume come in? A resume comes in every single step. Literally every single step. When it comes to searching for a job, you keep revamping your resume to match the requirements. Then when you're applying for a job, your resume is really important to get shortlisted. Now when there's a phone screening or a technical round happening, they keep looking at your resume, they keep referring back to your resume when they have questions, when they want to cross question you on the basis of what you've written on your resume. You've written, okay, I've done this project. You've written, I have that skill. Your resume is really used as a reference point to have any conversation with you until the point you start the job. So whether it's your on-site interview, your offer, your negotiations, checking your past experience, it is going to be your resume. I mean, an HR is going to look at your resume some 5,000 times to the point you sign the offer letter and start the job. Sometimes even when you start the job, when you're deciding on your KPIs, your role, the different tasks that will be assigned to you, even that can be derived largely from your resume, depending on the experience you have shown on that document. So that's pretty much how important it is. So don't think कि बस apply करना है. After that, so no one's gonna look at my resume. So let me put whatever I want. You have to be really careful. Okay, so things you should know before you start building a resume. What job role are you looking for? Are you looking for like a data scientist, a business analyst, a data analyst, ML engineer? Are you looking at a more statistical role? So what kind of role you're looking for, you need to make sure you have that clarity in your mind. Of course, having said that, the industry right now, not just right now, it's been a while since data science has been in the industry, but they're still figuring it out. The HRs a lot of times are confused themselves. They are not sure of the exact nomenclature for the skills that they're looking for. So you can't go and when you're applying for jobs, you can't be like, okay, let me apply only for business analysts or let me apply only for data scientists because that's really what I want to do. But the skill set that they are looking for might be that of an ML engineer and they've called it data scientist. So you have to make sure your resume is evolving constantly to match what the job requirement is asking you for. right? And if you want to make something that is more agnostic, that is, something that will match, say Grey Atom says that you have to submit your resume because we want to share that with the hiring partners. In that case, you don't know where we will share, right? In that case, you have to make something more agnostic. So it should show your superpower, it should show your skills, it should show that you have an end-to-end knowledge of almost everything that comes under the sun of data science. Now, you identify your superpower. What is it that you enjoy the most? And what you're also good at. We have spoken about superpower earlier. Even in the boot camps, we have spoken about superpower. A superpower is something out of all the different parts or processes of a project. I'm just saying project for the sake of example. There are different sections, right? Like there is data collection, there's data interpretation, there's building a model, deploying it. There's so many things that you all do. Which part you are really, really good at? What is it that you have in-depth knowledge in, and what is it that you enjoy doing and you can keep doing it over and over again, and you'll do a brilliant job at it? That is your superpower, right? So you need to identify that. Then comes you have to research on the open job opportunities available in the market and make sure your resume matches all of those. Like Guru rightly said, that the HR is usually looking for keywords, so make sure you have the right keywords on your resume. How can you leverage on your past experience and choose the right role? I've always supported the fact that a lot of us come with experience. If you don't come with experience, that's fine. But if you come with experience, don't look at it like a baggage. Don't try to shun that away. If you have experience, try to leverage on that experience. Make sure you draw some common lines between what you've done earlier and what you've recently learned. Put them together and then present it on your resume. Yeah. Rough iterations on paper to arrive to a final answer. So instead of saying rough iterations, I usually, the sheet that I shared with y'all, right? It has a resume section. So I actually, okay, let me pull that up. I'm sorry, guys, I have a bad throat. All right. So if you look at this, this is a sheet this is something I've made from my own personal experience. And I've had this sheet for myself for a couple of years now. What I usually do is, mine is a little different because I'm not a data scientist, but I put everything over here. If I do some certification, I add that. Where have I done that certification? All of those details. If in continuous education, this is where my certifications and specializations come in. If I have, okay, let's go step by step, right? So these are basic demographics as to who I am, my primary contact number, all of those, my LinkedIn. If you have a GitHub, which in data sciences you should ideally have, you put those details, your current city. If you want to mention preferred city, you put that also over here. You can add a preferred city. If you're somebody who's open to relocate to any city, any country, you can mention that. Open to relocate to no specific place. Profile summary is optional. I think unless you have 5+ years of experience, this is not really required. Then, the formal education section, here you write about your school, your college, your undergrad, your high school, those details. Yes, you don't really need this if you are someone who has, say, masters, or you have done higher education. This is not really that important to mention on your profile, but sometimes they do. Sometimes when you're applying for a job, the portal, it's their own portal. It's probably not Naukri and LinkedIn Jobs. It's their own portal, and then they will ask for this information. You shouldn't suddenly be like, "Arey, where is my high school certificate? I need to go and look for it because I need the scores." If you have everything on this sheet once and for all, you'll never have to go back looking for documents. I mean, of course, you should have a soft copy of it, but you won't have to skim through them to pick up any new information. If you do some projects, all of that, mention those over here. Work experience. We all do different things. There's internships, there's job opportunities, we all do some training work. Make sure you mention what skills you've picked up, what were some of the big things you've done over there. If you can mention what your KPIs were, definitely do that. If you were in a management role where you were handling a team, mention those details. If you have this sheet ready, say you're suddenly applying for a data scientist role and next morning you want to apply for a business analyst role, you can quickly change what you want to pick up from here. Say you're someone who has 4 or 5 things over here. You can pick, you know what, I don't want to put this experience. I want to definitely mention this one a little more. So you can pick that one up and put it on your resume. So this really, really helps. Some of us come with a lot of experience and we get really greedy because this sheet will suddenly look like really long. You have a lot of things over here. But while I continue to say that you must value everything you've done, it's not possible to put everything on your resume. So you might want to move some things to your LinkedIn and put them and put the most relevant and important ones on your resume. Can I? Okay, I'm going to take some questions. I'm looking for a blend between analyst and ML. How should I approach? How should I approach questions? I can take one-on-one, Harsh. We can connect on Slack, but you should. I think for business analyst and ML, it's not very, very different. Just make sure you identify all the good things that you've learned with data sciences. Mention them on your profile, and see how the industry is responding. HR, yes, okay. Past experience, yes. Can you use the Can you use the sample? Shalini, I'm sorry, I didn't understand exactly what you're looking for. If you could just reframe and let me know. Okay, so these are some fundamentals. It should be clear. Your name has to be clear and in big font. But sometimes I've seen literally 1/3 of a resume is contains just the name. Say it says. Can I take someone's example here? Okay, I'll say Bhushan. Okay, so it says Bhushan Chevale for the first 1/3 of the page. I mean, I know that your name is important, but then you also need to understand the white space has to be very smartly used on your resume because um, remember, you cannot have too many pages, so you cannot waste space. All your contact information has to be there, but you don't have to give your full address. We are not looking for them to deliver food on Swiggy or send us flowers. So please do not write your street number, your street name, and your building number and flat number. It's not required because you're circulating your resume to so many people. Why do you want to give out your address? So you just give your phone number, your contact number, your current city, your email ID, your LinkedIn, GitHub links. These are really important. And with your phone number, LinkedIn, GitHub, email ID, that's 4 different portals where people can connect with you. You don't have to give your address. Or you definitely don't need to mention your blood group. I've seen blood group, I've seen marital status, I've seen number of children, I've seen date of birth, I've seen anniversary date, I've seen all of this also. Please, they're not relevant for your resume. Don't put them over there. Yeah. Do you guys think it's important to put your blood group? Okay. Nobody liked my joke. Okay. So do you think that the relevant KRA should be part of the profile? Yes, Guru, definitely. If they're relevant, why not? If you can showcase some experience that would match, that would really add value, definitely. Yes, that group is not in the JD, so you don't put that on your resume. Finally. Okay, I'm looking to transition from sales into data analyst. How do I build my resume? Do I mention your experience? Of course, I want to mention your experience. You should. In fact, if you're from sales, I'm sure there would be some soft skills or certain things that you would have done that would be required for a data analyst also. There should be a lot of analysis you would have done in sales itself. So you might want to highlight those. And also with sales experience, you have Guys, can we be on mute? I will take the questions, put it on chat. Thank you. It's just a lot of people here. That's why it's better if you take it from chat. So if you're someone who has sales experience, you have a good business idea, I'm assuming. So yes, please put it on your resume. Matching with the JD, though it will make the profile a bit long for people who have good experience. Yeah, definitely. It might make it a little long, but how long? Like 2 pages max? Um, I actually had this learner from the UK, and he had a 12-page long resume. That was the longest I had seen. 12 pages. And I told him, bro, this cannot happen. No, you can't have 12 pages long resume, and you have like what 14 years of experience. Not happening. So after the session, he revamped his resume and brought it down to 3 pages, 2.5 to 3 pages, and it was so perfect. It just had the right points, all of those. So make sure you also design your resume correctly. You showed the resume to be in a table format. Is this the guideline, or you would recommend it to be the best practice? I did not show the resume in a table format. That table format is for you to maintain all your information. When you're making a resume, you pick up a template and you pick up all the information from here and move it there. You pick up the most relevant information from this table and move it there. Past experience has the power to make us stand apart. Okay, I think how many pages ideally? How many pages, guys? Yes, 12 pages of manuscript. How many pages would be ideally correct? What do you guys feel? Two? I did I just give up the answer 2 minutes back? Okay, yeah. So it has to be 1 to 2 pages. If you have 5+ years of experience, only then you can go to 2 pages. If not, then you have to stick to 1 page. You cannot have 2 pages. You can't be like, I'm a fresher, but I have 2 pages ka resume. Like, what have you done for 2 pages? Don't stick to 1 page. Like, I'm telling you honestly, I've been on the recruiting side. I've been working with recruiters lately. I've been on both the sides of the table. We don't even look at the second page. The first page should give me the right information. The second page is always, okay, let me see what else. The first page should be enough for me to want to hire you or not, or to even speak to you or not. It's as simple as that. Go and ask any HR, this is the response they will give you. So 2 pages, they don't really do anything about it. So try to stick to 1 page. Okay, I go through a lot of DSJD. Even an entry level post also require 2 to 3 years of experience. Okay, I will come to those questions. I'll take them. But give me a little while. What are 10 years experience? 10 years experience, 2 pages, Sandeep, especially because you're transitioning. You don't want to overburden somebody with all the past experience, all the past knowledge you have. Yes, leverage on your past experience, but you don't want to put so much information from your past experience that they forget you're looking for a DS role. So imagine 2.5, 3 pages of information that is not really reflecting how you should be the data scientist they're looking for. I heard sometimes that freshers don't get directly into data science, but into something like data analyst. Is it true? It's not true. How to proceed with 10 years of experience in totally field. 10+ years of experience, like, okay, so again, if you have that much experience, look for common lines and put that. Okay, I'm going to continue with this, guys, and take some questions after some time. So you need to make sure you have all your contact information, and please be available on that contact information. Don't give mommy's phone number, or give cousin's phone number, or give a phone number that you don't use. Don't give a phone number that doesn't work. You are in Bombay, you've given Calcutta's phone number. Ideally it should work, but if you're having a problem, please be available. If it's your email ID, check your email ID. I have seen people who don't read emails. They're like, Kritika ma'am, I didn't see there was an email. I didn't realize this company was reaching out to me. What do you want me to do? I can't call you every time that the company is reaching out to you. So you need to really be available. Like, if you have a LinkedIn, either you don't mention your LinkedIn anywhere. If you do, be available on your LinkedIn. Just be active and available on your LinkedIn. Right? Yes, Guru, people have phone, but they're not available. They use it for PUBG and games, but they don't use their phones. They don't respond to calls. Guys, this is your resume. Whatever you put there, be available over there. Right? All right. Reverse chronological order of your experience. It should tell your story. So when I look at a resume, the first thing I want to see is the most latest experience, the most latest recently acquired knowledge, and then it can slowly go down to your past experience and all that you've done earlier. A resume, like I said, while it's reflecting your personality, it should definitely be like there has to be a lot of storytelling. When I look at a resume, it should be like, okay, this person probably was doing this, joined Grey Atom, picked up these skills, has done these projects. Okay, fine. So I can see a journey over there. That's how your resume, your LinkedIn, these things should be. It should really give you a good, I would say, a good quick trailer sort of a thing of your career, right? It should give it should work like a trailer, and then you can give the whole movie when you're talking in the interview. So make sure there's a nice flow to it. So don't like jump from one thing to the other. There should be a good flow. All right. So proof of expertise. This is the most important. I think I'm going to color this in red next time. Your projects, your hackathon skills and courses. Now, for people who are transitioning, which is almost everybody over here, if you do not show projects, if you do not mention the skills you've picked up, if you do not talk about the different courses that you've done, it will not the hiring partner will never know that you know this or not. Like, you can always go and say that I'm superb with Python. You can always go and say that I know all the algorithms, my maths, my stats are amazing. But how do you validate that? Your projects are the only way to validate. So your resume, I would say 30 to 40% of your resume should talk about your projects, all the interesting things that you've done. If you're a part of Grey Atom, then you can't be like, I'm going to put the projects I've done with my entire batch. All of us are doing the same project. Let me put the same project on my resume. It does not work that way. If you need to do interesting stuff on your own. So we recently had some friends who got hired at Medley Pharmacy. It's a huge organization. They're doing really well. They've hired from Grey Atom, and they continue to hire as a recurring partner. I was just in conversation with the lead data scientist over there, and I asked him that you looked at some of the profiles of our star learners. What worked and what did not work? And he said, Kritika, my problem was all of them had the same projects. Literally all of them had the same projects. Like, then how do I know I should hire this person over the other? So he literally picked up 3 people, and all 3 of them had independent projects, and he interviewed them and he took them. He didn't even look at the other resumes because the HR told him that his sare projects are the same. All the projects are the same. So the HR did not forward the resumes to him. So imagine that the other resumes might have been of really good learners. I gave the profiles myself. So I'm telling you, they were all strong profiles, but they just picked up the ones who had independent, unique projects. And if you don't have a project on the resume, you don't even get shortlisted. I mean, you're not even considered. It's as simple as that. So that's how important projects are, and you need to start doing projects on your own. I mean, if you are a curious data scientist, you should ideally be dying with a lot of curiosity that, okay, let me try to solve all this world's problems using data sciences. So you should ideally have some projects in your bucket. Build a template that can be tweaked for each position. So just pick up one template and you have all the information on that Excel sheet. You should include the right and relevant content, not too less, not too much. Exactly, not too less, not too much. Keep it crisp, organized, and clear, and make sure you add your social links, your GitHub, Medium, LinkedIn, if you're super active on any other portal. Some of you have a portfolio. Recently, I know a lot of my front-end learners have portfolio. Recently, I came across some data scientists who made good portfolios, presenting the projects they have done. It just talks about them. It was so nicely done. So if you think you can make a portfolio, it will bring a lot of value to your candidature, or even to your career as a brand. Like, you as a brand, it will bring you a lot of value. All right. Oh my God, a lot of questions. Guys, we have to maintain speed. Okay. Ma'am, for people like us who have worked for 11 months in the first company and 5 years in the second and third for 3.5 years. Yeah, Deep, what's your question? Even okay. Should we provide references and how will it impact if, okay. I will come to references. I have a whole section about references. Okay, for experience people, first page, new data science skills, second page, past skills and achievements. No, everything in one page. I have total experience of 18 years. Oh my, okay. Should I mention my past experience? I have removed past experience from Monster. No, please mention your past experience. Why wouldn't you mention your past experience? You should do that, but make sure you keep highlighting the skills that also match the requirements for a data scientist. Can anyone tell how to prepare the first page for a resume? Okay, I will tell you all. Don't worry. Portfolio, okay. Does different domain projects count? Yes, different domain projects. Yes, it does count. Yes. Yeah, Arnav, this project totally counts. Yeah. Okay. So about the portfolio, I don't think I have any sample to show you. If I find something, I put it on Slack. But a portfolio basically looks like an online, like you can use WordPress or one of those. It just, actually, I do have some portfolios that I can show. I will show you all after some time. I'll show you a portfolio maybe. It's basically like an online version of your resume. It looks like a web page. You can just scroll through it. It gives all the basic details about you. There would be a section where you scroll up to, and that shows all the projects. It can be really elaborate. It can look like a proper functional, responsive web page. So don't think you have to become a front-end developer to do that. You can just pick up something online and you can get it done. But if it's something you can, great. It's not important. It's not very important. That's good value to add. Okay. Things you should know before you start building a resume. Again, make separate resumes for different roles. You cannot build experience overnight. You cannot also build your resume overnight. So what you can do is you can start building today. Keep revamping, keep building upon it every passing day. With every time you do something new, keep adding to it. As this says that you cannot build experience overnight, but you can plan. If you know I want to enter the insurance domain, you start doing projects today relevant to that domain. Like if you want to get into insurance and you're doing a project on Book My Show or something like that, you're doing something on Zomato, like on food industry. Why? When you have a domain in mind, make sure you put all your energy to target that domain. So plan it. Start working and building relevant portfolio projects to include them in your resume and highlight the right skills. So if you're applying for an ML engineer role, you want to highlight EDA, model building, strong knowledge on algorithms. But if it's a data scientist role, which is basically something that encompasses everything under data sciences, it's very end to end. So you want to make sure you show you have good business acumen, you know Python, you have good stat skills, all of those. So be very careful about those. All right, so identify the right information that needs to go into your profile building. I'm gonna put this chat. Okay, yeah, so over here, if you're a fresher, then your personal details, your summary is really optional, your skill set, the projects. Academic proficiency is ideally where you can put in your graduation details, your master's details, your Grey Atom certification, any other certification you have. You can put everything under one umbrella called academic proficiency. If you call it education, then again you'll have to have a separate section for certificates. Then additional information would be anything that's more relevant to it. In data sciences, in other industries, you don't have something like the projects. So it does not take up that much space on your resume. Because you guys have projects, you cannot really spend too much time writing about winning dance competitions and all the other achievements that you had from school and college. You can't really mention those because you will not have that space on your resume, because projects will take up a lot of space. And it's really okay, because projects are the defining factor that will really validate the skills that you claim to have when you're applying for a job. If you're an experienced professional, again, personal details, I mentioned what the personal details should be. If you guys go to the platform, there is a whole section on what has to be mentioned under what. So guys, read over there. There's a lot of reading material over there. Okay. And then again, there is you need to have if you're somebody who comes with 5+ years of experience, you might want to put a summary, especially people who have, I mean, I know a lot of you have been asking about 10 years, 12 years of experience, then you have come from a very different domain, then a summary would make sense to bridge between your past and the future, the new things that you're learning and doing. Mention the skill sets, mention the project that you worked on, definitely mention your past experience and then your academic proficiency. Continuous education means, so I hope we all know what formal education and continuous education is. Formal is still undergraduation, anything after undergrad is continuous education. Oh, so I think someone has shared a portfolio, so I guess you guys can look at that. Thank you. Okay. So you guys know Dilip, right, from Reatom? He has a very good portfolio that he had made. He has showed it to me once. I don't know if it's there on his LinkedIn. You can probably check. Okay, so specifications and formatting, make sure that the capitalization is the same. You keep it constant throughout your job titles, degree, and overall. Your degree cannot be in complete caps, and your job titles are in absolute small letters. And one job title is in small letters and the other is in caps. Please don't do that. Make sure. I mean, this is basic visually, your resume should look appealing. For someone who has, who's, I wouldn't say a grammar Nazi, but for someone who gives a lot of value to how a document is presented, that person will be immediately ticked off by looking at poorly formatted resume, even if the content is amazing, right? And this is a professional document. This is a representation of you that reaches the HR's table before you can. So you might want to put in that extra effort and have the comma, the punctuation right, capitalization right. The font should not be like on your face, like really big font on your face. All of that shouldn't happen. Let me give you some the ideal fonts and everything. Even though everything is mentioned in the document, guys, there is very good reading material that we have personally worked on, and it's there for you on GLabs. Please go and take a look at it. It mentions all the correct fonts, the correct size, everything, how the format should be, what the structure should be, everything is available over there. But I will still tell you, when you're, so there is sans form and then there is something like Times New Roman, right? If you look at Times New Roman, it has this extra edge, this pointy edge. So that font is usually considered really good in terms of readability for printed documents. But thanks to the whole digital world that we live in now, your resume is probably going to be opened on a phone, a laptop, or a tab. So using a sans form makes more sense, like the one on, like you can see the chat, right? Everything has a curved edge. There is no sharp edge like Times New Roman. So this font is really good for digital media. Okay, anything that you're presenting online, like look at the font I have selected for this presentation, right? There are no very sharp edges. So this is good because it's visually quite appealing. So pick simple fonts, don't go cursive, don't go crazy with a lot of fancy stuff, right? I usually go for Calibri or Tahoma, something as simple as, there is something like Turbu, something. Okay, then there is Century Gothic. These fonts are good. Times New Roman is also good, but you can go a little creative, but don't go crazy with a very different font. Yeah, readability, of course. I mean, Chitranjan, you're rightly saying that you have to structure it nicely enough. It's not just the font. A lot of things together determine the readability of a document. All right, so those things, margins, please at least keep a 1/2 inch margin on all the sides. Sometimes I've seen a resume where the material is literally going out of the page. Imagine if the resume, if the HR in big organizations, I'm talking about organizations like Bare Minerals or Siemens, there I've seen, even though everything has gone digital, they still maintain a lot of hard copies of files for NDAs, and also they will add a resume also over there. please do not have your material literally going out of the margin, going out of the sheet. Don't do that. Because when they print it, it might just get cut and the printed version might not have the whole information. Yeah. Okay. Yes, these specifics. I have used almost the same specifications for my learners from different countries. It's pretty standard. Sometimes something's a little different according to the local market, but this is pretty standard. Of course, if you go to the UK, they prefer more of CV than resume. CV is a little different. They are more like the one that you use in academic field, right? The one academicians they use. So that's something way more elaborate. That's what they are more used to in the UK. But in other countries, if you look at it, this is pretty much the standard format. Yeah, so margins have to be right. Your alignment has to be right. You use justified alignment ideally, or you use left aligned. Don't use in one corner it's right aligned, the other corner is middle aligned. Don't do that. Keep it the same. Aesthetic appeal is important. Order is very important. All of this is elaborated on the documents, guys. Please go and read. It will really help you if you look at the document while you're building your resume, so you make sure that the pointers are maintained. Use the right template. These are some, but if you ask me, this is the best. I'm going to put it over here on chat. There is flowcv.io. Yeah, I think this is really good. This is something Mayuresh had told me about. I picked it up. It's really good. It's free of cost. Once you have that Excel sheet ready, you can literally pick up any template, copy paste the information, and you're ready. Yeah, so you can do that. Link up, please link up. Super important. Did you try to open the Flow CV? Okay, let me see if I can open Flow CV. Yes, it's correct. I hope you guys can still see my screen. Yeah, you can try it. So you just need to add your content here very nicely. You can keep adding the different sections that you need. It's really good. I really like it. I just hope they don't start charging soon. Then you pick the design, you can format this, you can put it any way you want. You do a final check, like a resume, like a preview, and then you can download the version you want. It's really good. So try it out. Like, I mean, it's free of cost. You can really play around with the app. Okay, I'm just gonna put it on chat again for everyone. It is free, yes. It's free. I just hope they don't start charging soon. So see, imagine guys, if you have your content ready over here, you could literally pick it up. You can choose the section you want. You can, like over here, you can choose the section you want. You can copy paste everything and you're good. You're good. Imagine how convenient can it be? Okay, so that's that. I hope the pace is fine. I'm not really rushing because I want to be able to answer all your questions. Step number 3. What is step number 3? Okay. You guys will have access to this, guys. I will, you guys can access I will show you where this is available for you all also. Yeah, here. The decks are all available for you all. Whatever I talk about is available for you over here. You guys, all of you have access to this. Okay. So you don't have to make notes. What's your take on Naukri and LinkedIn paid services? Oh, that's a different conversation. Okay, can you share the link, please? Okay, I will request Ramanand when he shares the feedback link. With that link, he will share this link also. Okay, the 99 with learners. It is pinned on your chat, but we will still do it. I think on Slack it's already pinned. If it's not, I will have that done. So you guys can access it anytime. Okay. So here are some do's and don'ts. I've tried to put some comics. All right. Make your resume standard. The Truth Potato has to say, find different. Being different does not always mean you are useful. So when you're trying to look really, really different, don't go crazy looking in terms of the colors, the pattern, design. You're writing just any random thing. Don't do that. Try to be a little constant with what the industry might be looking for and what you can offer. Also, make sure what you have on your resume should match what you're putting on LinkedIn and GitHub. A mismatch over there can be found not in not very good ethics, so be careful about that. Declaration is not required. Earlier, what the system, guys, the small things like references, declaration, these things you don't need to put on your resume anymore, because in olden times, like earlier, I would say it would be like, okay, you give a written document to your dad, he gives it to your some family friend uncle who's going to refer you in a company. That was the format. So there you had to give a lot of declaration and everything. Here there's a lot of direct contact, and people can contact you immediately to validate what you are offering, right? So it's really not like, don't waste the space for these things. Hobbies, no, you don't put your hobbies over here unless and I mean you can let me see if I can pull up some good resumes to show y'all where you could put your hobbies. Okay, keep it to one page. This is a resume, not an autobiography. It all started when I was born. Yeah, please don't do that. Do tell a relevant story. If you are someone who comes with a lot of experience, your resume might look like this if you put in too much information. Like sometimes you are like, I did so many things in my past role, I want to put everything over there. Don't do that. If I start doing that, I will have a 6-page long resume. So don't do that. Especially if people who work in startups, they will have 2 pages dedicated to each company. So don't do that. Try to keep it simple and show a roadmap of where you want to go. A resume should not. I've seen sometimes like a business development, someone who was in BD. I saw the resume. It spoke so much of BD. I almost forgot this person is applying for a data science job. I want to know that you come with business knowledge, but don't overwhelm me with your past experience. Tell me more about your new role or the things that you want to really do. Okay, focus on outcomes and use evidence. Yes, I think this is very self-explanatory, right? Do mention, what do? You do mention languages and frameworks. What you don't do is you mention libraries unless they're listed in the job posting. Of course, definitely. Use simple, descriptive, and strong action words. Okay, this is, there is one thing that, there's one tip that I've given to a lot of our learners earlier, and I want to share with all of you here. You want to be a doer or you want to be an achiever? You don't want to show on your, I mean, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a doer or do you want to be an achiever? How do you want a hiring partner to look at you? Quickly put it on chat. Okay, so Guru says you want to be an achiever. Arnab also agrees that it has to be an achiever. So if you have to be an achiever, what should be the language? Like, what kind of language do you want to maintain on your resume? What is the kind of terminologies? What are the words you should use? See, exactly. You're showing team player. I'm a positive person. I'm a multitasker. All of this does not really bring a lot of attention. It still makes you look like a doer, right? Now, accomplishments, exactly. So I looked at this one resume by a learner, and when I was going through his resume, all the pointers were right, but there was still something off. And I asked him to make it look like an achiever's resume. So you show some facts, like, okay, in this company, I crunched these many numbers. This is what I did. These were my targets. I achieved these. Successfully completed this task. Successfully changed this. Made the system more efficient with this process. You know, when you show, it's more factual. It's more like, okay, I have completed this. This was done. This was achieved. Instead of writing something like, I was part of this team. I used to do this. I used to do that. I was helping the team with. Okay, fine. Best example: helping the team uh, hit the target versus um, successfully completed successfully reached team's target within 1 week versus helped team complete targets. The first one, successfully hit the target, is obviously way more stronger. It just shows, it's so bright. Like for me, I would say, like I remember something I put on my resume that I brought down the absenteeism rate in my company, in my previous organization, by a certain percentage. So instead of saying something like helped employees enjoy work, brought down absenteeism by this much percentage. The second one is like a fact. It's like on the table that, okay, you know what, I've done this, so I know my job. So you want to come across as an achiever. You don't want to come across as a doer, because only achievers look at growing to higher, to higher positions really fast. You want to go into managerial roles. You don't want to end up doing the same thing all your life. So you want to always present yourself as someone who can really crunch the numbers, who can um, really achieve and do new stuff in an organization, right? Successfully delivered the project, successfully deployed this project in dedicated time, right? Like, believe me, guys, once you start thinking in this way, you look at your resume, you will find so many changes. All right. Resume refactoring. So what is given? Analyzed data and found patterns. What would be better? Fit a regularized logistic regression that discovered the most important churn metrics. Yeah, see, that's a good example. Also, yeah, remember, okay, why does any company want to hire someone? At the end of the day, what is the requirement for every company? End of the day, सबको क्या चाहिए? What does everybody want? Yeah, profit, revenue, money. Everybody wants money, obviously, right? So so your resume should ideally show, at the end of the day, you're looking at bringing profit to the company. At the end of the day, you want to show that you are going to help in their business. Whatever you do is going to bring a lot of value and may directly or indirectly impact how their revenue looks or how their branding looks for very, very big organizations, right? Worthy to the company, you will be worthy to the company, and you will be bringing value only when you can impact the revenue in some or the other way. Eventually they're paying you, so they expect the same from you. So when you put projects, like I've seen learners, they put a lot of their data science projects on their resume, but they just talk about, okay, I use this tool, these were the requirements for the project, these were my insights. But why you're not telling me how it impacted that company? So if you do a project with Book My Show, like even if it's a hypothetical project, you need to mention how it would eventually impact their business. Everybody wants to know the business impact. Even if you look at the Excel sheet that I've made, eventually every organization wants to know how that project, if that project was a real project, if it would have been deployed, would it impact the business? Would it really help the organization? Yes or no? Everything boils down to that. So your projects, everything that you put on your resume should reflect that. You want to talk about what the business problem was, what tools you used, what your insights were, and how it would have impacted the business. These 4 points need to go in every project that you mention on your resume, which is why we say you need to mention not more than 2 or 3 projects, but they should be bang on smart, very strong projects that you have done. Mention those, have these 3-4 line pointers. Also, small pointers, don't write paragraphs. You put that on your resume, and you cannot tell me, Kritika, I've done this and then I have not gotten shortlisted. Then something else is wrong, because this is really what it takes to get shortlisted. Companies hire a person as they have certain pain point or shortage of skill of hands. Eventually, again, yeah. People mentioned the projects they worked on and each role they played. Responsibility was domain details, tool use. Is this right? Yes, Shalini, this can be done. but don't spend too much of your space and time on that. Try to talk more about DS because that's where you want to go, and not talk a lot about where you were. Okay, resume refactoring again. Given is build a web app, what would be better? Coded an interactive web application in Django and React. So they are mentioning the skills that matched students with projects, right? Like solution focused. Business problem ye hai, solution ye hai. Sorry, I switch to Hindi sometimes. If there's anyone who's uncomfortable about it, please ping me. I will stick to English. Even otherwise, I'll stick to English. All right. So what do? You focus on specific tangible outcomes and impact. How did the organization benefit? Preferably with metrics. If you can put some metrics, put a number on it, nothing like it. Everybody in data science, especially, they love numbers. HRs, they love numbers. Everybody loves numbers, even if you hate maths. Average number of points to be mentioned on a project. Okay, 4, max 4. Okay. If it was a data science role, then you want to mention more. Okay. Okay, don't have any typos. Please use 2 different spell checkers. You can use Grammarly, you can use Word Doc. Honestly, even if you use Google Sheets, if you're using Google, the version where you can type things like a Word document, it does a spell check. Even your Gmail does a spell check. So spell check is everywhere. So in spite of having spell check installed on your systems, if you still make grammatical errors, then you're just ignorant, and hiring partner will not like it. Okay. Read it aloud to yourself. Maybe you want to show it to your friend. You might want to, sometimes you don't want to, after you've spent an entire night building a resume, you might want to take a break or not look at it for like a day and then look at it again, because then you come with some fresh perspective and you'll be able to identify some mistakes that you missed out earlier. Right, check the order, have a friend read it aloud, just check these things. Resume is a living document and needs to be updated periodically. How often do you guys think you need to update this? Periodically is a very vague term, I would say. How often? Six months, 1 to 3 months, 15 days, as soon as I have some new point to add. I think I will give it up to Chitranjan and Shailendra. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, Chitranjan and Shailendra. So every time you do something new, every time you have a new skill to add, every time you've done a new latest project, you need to add that. You cannot do this once in a year, cannot do this once in 6 months or 3 months. Hell, I've been working with Greatom for quite some time now and I'm not looking to change, but I still keep updating my resume because you should just keep it ready. You should always have it updated. At least, if not your resume, at least have that Excel sheet ready. Every time you do something new, you suddenly decide, I want to learn deep learning, and you learn something new, man, go and put it on that Excel sheet. Because then if you don't do all of this, when you decide to make a switch and you decide to make a new resume, you spend 3 days. And Kritika will say, send your resume for hiring partner. You'll say, I'll take the entire weekend to make it, Kritika. No, keep your Excel sheet ready so you can make it in half an hour. And always keep it updated. Updated every week if you can't do it every time you learn a new skill. Add the details of the new projects that you built and tweak your resume each time you apply for a new role. Okay, depends on whenever you identify a change, okay, significant changes in skill sets. Okay, I prefer once in a year because with work pressure in 3 months or 6 months, not ideal. You can definitely maintain the Excel sheet deep. It will not take so long. Also try updating it with better templates, irrespective of new content to add. Yeah, I mean, again, update your Excel sheet so you can go to Flow CV and try new templates every time. I'm gonna show you guys some good guys. You're annotating now, really? How do you disable attendee annotation? Okay, I'm gonna show some good resumes. Let me see. Okay, this is one of my favorite resumes. I helped him build this. This is Bhushan Chawale. He used to work with Greatom. I mean, this guy comes with, he came with 3 years of experience. He's working with L&T, L&T Next, one of the best places. He got shortlisted in so many places and his resume played a big role over there. So this is, I think, ideal, I would say. So look at how he's done this. So his name, his basic contact details, contact him on any of these, he will be available. His last role, his experience, because this was the DS experience he had, his honors and awards, basically they were all hackathon details, only hackathon details he's mentioned, I would say. His projects, look at how he's done his project. You guys can see my screen, right? It's the same window, different tab. Great. So look at how he has done his mentioned his projects very nicely. He's mentioned why he was doing the project, and they were all projects he's done independently. Interesting stuff. He's mentioned his skills. I like how there's a small demarcation between his. No, he has worked with Grey Atom. He was my colleague. He was a Grey Atom learner, and then he worked with Grey Atom. He has mentioned all his skills. This is a great way of putting your skills out there instead of putting rating scale like 3 on 5, 4 on 5. Like, how do you know you're good enough for 4 on 5, and how do you know you're bad enough for 3 on 5? Don't put a rating scale and put yourself in a situation where the interviewer can totally grill you on the basis of the rating scale that you put over there. At the most, if you want, you can always mention things like I would say like proficiency, that okay, you have 3 categories. I'm great at this, I'm learning this, and I want to learn this. You can make those 3 categories. You can mention the skills if you really want to show proficiency, but don't put a rating scale. Don't put yourself in that spot unless you think you can answer the kind of questions that might come your way. Okay. And this is your education, your certifications. I really like how he has done this, and this is, believe me, a lot of information. Somebody else would have put this in 2 or 3 pages, but because he's done 2 columns and very clearly marked every section, it's done nicely. So I think I don't have to show you too many resumes. This is a good one. But if you still want me to show you one more, let me pull something up, then I share my screen again. Okay, let me show you a freshers. I cannot share this resume. I've shown it to you. Why do you want to see somebody else's resume in so much detail? Okay. You have to make your own resume. So this is Varun. I think this is not his latest resume. He later changed the format a little bit, but I like how he put all the content. He also added a picture later. I don't think I have the latest one here. So he's a chartered accountant, and he had some years of experience in articleship. So he had done almost 3 years. So that's why he put all the information here, but he focused largely on data science projects, good projects. I like how he mentioned everything in great detail here. I think this should help you all read better. Good projects, and he knew he wanted to be in the finance domain, so that's why he made sure he had some of those projects also over here. His certification and extracurricular participation. Yeah, there was some space here. If he wanted, he could have added icons for his hobbies if he really wanted, but it's really okay to not mention that. Right now, projects should really take the limelight. For someone who is so much experience, I think later on I made him remove this also, and he elaborated a little more on the projects. And I look at this. This was he has mentored, resolved loopholes, performed in this, completed this. Look at the language, successfully completed this. The language is very achiever language. Yeah, and look at the skills. But then again, this is the world's second most common template. Please don't give me this template. Don't ever use that teal colored template. I think I will have one to show you. That is the most common template ever. Don't use it. So this is another star learner, but he's used a very common template. This template. All of you will find this. It's a free version available online. I'm sure you will find this and you will want to use it, but don't use it. Also, this is not really required. You can mention languages, especially if you speak of foreign languages. India is a multilingual country, so it's very obvious. Almost everybody can fluently converse in three languages, including English. There's not a lot of value that you're adding to your resume if you mention, I know English, Hindi, Marathi, I know English, Hindi, Bengali, or English, Tamil, and Telugu. It's not a lot of value that you're adding because Indians are expected to know three languages locally. So unless you can, if you can't see my screen, but I'm sharing my screen. Nobody can see my screen? Yeah, okay. So please make sure that you mention languages only if there are foreign languages, because that will help you with international trade and all of that. But if it's local languages, don't use that space to mention languages. You can use that space to mention about projects in your past experience. So like he has mentioned his hobbies and things that interest him over here, and like how he's nicely shown that how passionate he's about data science is here as well. So this is a good resume, but this is a very common template. Thankfully, he didn't use blue, teal, or green, which is something everybody does. The color is at least different. Why I'm saying is, if you keep doing the same thing, if you keep using the same template, if you keep imagine as a viewer, imagine if you were looking at say 200, say 60 resumes. As the recruiter, you have 60 resumes in front of you and they all have the same template. What are the chances you will miss out on one of them when you're scrolling through them? Obviously you will miss out on them, right? You will not be able to remember one resume over the other because they at least look the same. They all have data science projects. Chances are, if it's a learner who's not put in a lot of effort, then from Grey Atom they have done the same projects also. Then how will I know the difference between Abdul, Abhishek, and Abhineet? It will probably be the same for me, right? So think about these things when you're making a resume, and try to use a different template. What Bhushan had done was he had coded and he had made the whole thing himself. He did not use Flow CV or anything. So every time I made a change, he would have to go and change the code or something. I don't know how that's done, but yeah. So let's build something together. You guys have your resume this year. Do we have time? We have actually some time. Do you guys want to build a resume together? Or first, let me respond to your FAQs, and then if we have time, we can build it together. But otherwise, we can go ahead with the instructions also. Okay. So okay, we're not going to do this. We're going to do this. Okay. Frequently asked questions. I actually want to pause the share and I will ask you the question and you're going to put it on chat. Okay? Okay. So 1 pager or 2 pager? Quick, guys. Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Or experience, guys. Go on mute. I can hear button. All right. Bot friendly resume. Yes, I will come to bots. All right. All right. How to differentiate between resume, profile, and CV? Profile is usually like a portfolio, and profile is also a word that they interchangeably use.
बैठो ऊपर बैठो
Okay. Yes. So that's what you do for. Sorry, guys, I got distracted. So profile, resume, and CV. CV is way more elaborate. It's used for academic industry in our country. CV usually includes every single thing you've done under the sun of career, every single thing, every education, every course you've done. Like, for example, I have some design experience. I've done some courses there. I've done some courses, a practitioner in Rorschach in Blot personality test. But I don't mention them because on my resume, because I'm looking at a career in L&D. So it doesn't make sense for me to include everything. In a resume, I wouldn't. If it was a CV, I would have mentioned everything. Everything you put on that Excel sheet goes on your CV. So that's the difference. In CV, usually it's a lot of, you also put a lot of effort, or rather a lot of energy is invested in mentioning your academic background, your any publications, any articles you've written, journals, all of those. Okay. All right. Next question. How important is it to use big words? How important is it to use big words? Yeah, it's not important. Okay. Are soft skill important and how do you mention them? Use simple words. Yeah. So guys, okay, going back to the big words pointer. Um, Please understand it's not just India, right? You might be applying to international markets. So what if the person you're applying to, the person, say the co-founder of that company or whoever is Spanish and English is not his strongest forte, right? Or say you are, this is for any business communication for that matter. Your business communication, your resume, your presentations, your documents, your emails, that's not the platform where you show that you have a very strong vocab. Like you have great vocabulary, awesome, use that in your business meetings, but you don't want to put everything, all those flowery language, all the big words. Like if like I'm presenting, right? I could have used a lot of non-colloquial terms, but you can see I'm using very basic words. I'm using very colloquial terms. I'm also sometimes switching to Hindi to make it more relatable for the audience. It's very important for your resume to be really simple, for any business communication to be simple and nicely framed, good grammar, but not very big words, because not every reader will be able to understand. And if it becomes difficult, you lose their attention, you lose their interest, and they might also consider you might not get the most correct impression. So be careful about that. Okay, so are soft skills important and how do you mention them? Are soft skills important and how do you mention them? Okay, so yeah, nobody gave the right answer. So soft skills are obviously very, very important, but how do you mention them? You don't be explicit about it. Team player, decision maker, critical, I'm great at critical thinking, multitasker, uh, leader, uh, all of these things for yourself. Somebody had also written very friendly on the floor. Like, why would you write that? You don't mention these things. No, you don't mention I'm efficient at communication. You can put these things in your skill section on LinkedIn, on your resume. It should be implicit. So if you think you can be a team leader, show that with experience that I was I was leading a team of these many people in this particular company. So in your company experience, you mentioned that you were even a team leader, right? In your if you're someone you mentioned about sports, you've been part of sports, or you've been part of dance troops, or you've worked in teams. So there should be indirect ways, implicit ways on your resume where you can show that you're someone who can work in teams. You have resolved business problems. You have good critical thinking. In that you can write that you know worked I remember this one resume I saw from a learner's resume, Daksh. He had mentioned that they had worked, I think 72 hours non-stop because there was a critical situation with the client. Very nicely he mentioned that on his resume in very simple words, in a very short sentence, that that for a client requirement they had stretched so much and all that. So it shows that he was really hardworking. Instead of putting a skill, hardworking, ready to give extra leadership, you don't want to put those things. You don't want to put those things on your resume. Okay, can nobody hear me? Okay. So thank you. All right. So you don't want to put those things on your resume. You can definitely mention some on the skills in the on your LinkedIn. I would have covered that in my LinkedIn session. I will do it again when I do the session again. But on your resume, please make it implicit, not explicit. Skills where I want to see your hard skills, your tech skills more than anything else. What is an ATS? How to beat one? What is an ATS and how do you beat one? Are you guys Googling what is an ATS? See, everybody's Googling. A teacher knows the students. ATS is automated resume. So it's a scanner basically. It's a scanner. What they do is, this is the whole bot thing that you all keep talking about, right? Harish, you did not Google. Okay. Itna der Google karke also nobody is giving me the answer. Guys, give me the answer. What is an ATS? I will tell you the meaning, but you have to give me the full form now. Yes, application tracking system. Perfect. Yeah. So what it basically does is it's like a scanner. It's used by a lot of hiring partners, a lot of companies. But believe me, in our country, it's not very common. Not a lot of companies use it. Very few of them use it because they hire in bulk, or companies like Amazon who suddenly get a lot of people who want to apply, they use it. Now ATS is used in two different ways. Let me start sharing my screen again. Okay. So ATS is used in two different ways, guys. ATS is used sometimes just for them to be able to scrape the information out of the resume and put it in a format where just move everything to an Excel sheet, and that helps the hiring partner put filters and identify who they want to shortlist. So that is one way of doing it. It's used to scrape information. The other is to scrape, and immediately the scanner itself identifies 5 keywords. Okay, I mean the keywords are obviously put in by the admin of the scanner. The scanner will automatically identify the resumes which have those 5 keywords and will shortlist those resumes, and the others get rejected or goes into the database. These are two ways in which ATS is used. So you want to make sure that your resume is at least it is scrapable by a scanner, right? So that way, when even if it's used for either purpose, at least it will be able to scrape the information in the right format and put it in the Excel in the right format for the hiring partner. That should be your end goal. And obviously, if you use the right keywords that the job description had, then chances of you getting shortlisted is also higher. But just because something is there on the JD, you add that to your resume, it doesn't work that way. Do not ever do that. Okay, they're asking for TensorFlow. Let me mention TensorFlow so I get shortlisted. बाद में बताएंगे मुझे नहीं आता. I just mentioned it because I wanted to get shortlisted. Don't do that. If you don't know TensorFlow, don't write TensorFlow just because the JD asks for it. Don't lie on your resume ever. Okay. Okay. Next set of questions. How do you show REATM experience? You can put that in academic proficiency in your education section, and of course, you can mention projects. If you're someone who's not done 3 or 4 independent projects, then at least put 1. Okay. And the other can be your REATM projects. If you're participating in hackathons, mention those. Those projects are also good projects to mention. Whom to approach to get feedback? I'm going to crack a joke here, guys. Brace yourself. Don't go to mama, because mama is always impressed with what beta and beti is doing. Dad is never ever impressed, and friend will so give wrong opinion. So please go to the right people. Asking your friend who works in the film industry will not be able to give you the right feedback for data science. You go to your friend Rahul, look at my resume. What do you think? Your friend will say it looks amazing because your friend is not from that industry. If you have a friend in the industry, great, show it to them, but don't show it to someone who does not belong to the industry. Your career coach, that is me, definitely a good person to ask. Ask your mentors, again, someone like me or someone from your your cohorts. You have different mentors coming in. If you have built that relationship with them where you can ask, great. Industry experts, yes. Asking even academicians would be good because they can probably identify the grammatical mistakes and all of those. But then again, remember, everybody will have an opinion and you need to own your resume. You show it to 5 people, even I might have an opinion about something, and you still strongly feel you want to mention something on your resume, and Kritika will be like, you know what, probably you should not mention this on your resume. But if you think you really, really want to, go ahead and do it. This is your resume. As long as you can back it, as long as if the hiring partner asks you that why do you have this here, you should be able to justify. As long as you can do that, good job. Put it on your resume. Okay, what if we have headings and bullet points instead of templates? As in, I think Deep, you're talking about the traditional resumes which looked like just a header and pointers and then header and pointers. Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah, you can do that too. But they just come across as a little boring sometimes. But if you're applying to bureaucratic companies, again, like Siemens and all, which are really traditional companies, then they might appreciate it. So it's debatable. You might want to have both the versions. If you're applying to very American companies, like a very startup companies, like math companies, they're doing really well, then you want to have something more latest. Yeah, so you can have 2 versions. Yeah, a lot of people have 2 versions. Samantha has a question. Yes, 2-column resumes are ATS compatible. You can use JobScan to check. You can use JobScan. It's a free service. You can put your resume over there, and they will scan it, and they will tell you how bot friendly it is. You can use JobScan. Okay, so whom do you approach? Okay, Dan, is cover letter important? It plays an important role. It really definitely sets you apart. I'll tell you one thing, guys. How many of you have tried LinkedIn Easy Apply? Yes, there is a way to stop your current employer from seeing you can't stop your current employer from seeing your LinkedIn profile, but if you're looking for jobs, you can stop your current employer from seeing that you're looking for jobs. Guys, tell me, how many of you have tried Easy Apply? Okay, so Easy Apply is, I'm looking for a better word to use here. Easy Apply is useless. That's the most, okay, it's useless. I'll tell you why. I've been on the other side where I was hiring and I had some open opportunities for people to apply and they applied. In Easy Apply now, it scrapes the information from your resume and from your LinkedIn profile. And it just, no, Amit, I wouldn't say that. I will say what I really need to. Okay. So in Easy Apply, guys, what happens is it just scrapes all the information from the resume and from your LinkedIn profile, and it puts everything in one format. So I'll tell you, when I would open the applications, I would get probably a 200-page PDF of different applications, and everything has been converted to the same format. It's a dark blue and white format. The dark blue section is on the left side, there's one column which has their demographics, and the right side would include all the projects, experience, everything. It literally scrapes everything and puts in this one common format for everybody. And when you export, it comes as like all the profiles come together as one file. So imagine when you when you apply and this is how your format, this is how the information goes to the other person. When I was shortlisting, no, I accidentally just skipped some profiles because it looked exactly the same as the previous one. That's how deceiving it can be. I mean, Easy Apply is a really, really bad option unless, and ideally what an HR would do, I know that my HR team, what they used to do, they would just Control F, write the keyword, look for the profile, copy paste the name, and then later contact those people and just ask the HR interns to call them, get some basic information and take it from there. This is pretty much the format on the hiring side. So Easy Apply is a bad idea. Instead of that, whenever I would get, some people would apply to my HR. They would just send the profile to my HR and she would forward it to me. I would go through that resume in much greater detail than I would go through resumes on from Easy Apply, because this person has made like, it's just obvious, right? When you open your mailbox, if there is one email that has come to you and if there is one resume on it, chances of you spending 10 seconds more on this is way higher than you spending that extra 10 seconds on a resume that has come through Easy Apply. Right? So that is why I would say Easy Apply is not a good idea. When you have your resume ready, always use double application. What is double application? Double application basically means, say, example for say the sake of conversation, I'll say say Grey Atom is hiring, okay, and Grey Atom has an Easy Apply option also, and this is just example, and there is you have Grey Atom's email ID, or you know somebody from Grey Atom. Then you reach out to that person and ask for the HR's email ID, and you email your resume with a cover letter to the HR. You go to Grey Atom's careers page and you try to apply over there. You reach out to someone you know at Grey Atom and ask them to refer you. That is the best way, because that way you're cutting the line and you are directly presenting your resume to the HR, who is so it's like you're getting a lot of forwards in a group chat on WhatsApp versus getting one direct message forward. Chances of you looking at the direct message forward is higher. So here we're just trying to get more screen time. We're just trying to get more screen time with the HR. That's all we're trying to do, right? In-mail or message is definitely a great idea. So try that. Double application is something I've learned from our learners, guys. This is something we've learned from our learners, and it has worked amazingly. And then when I related, I'm sure a lot of people did that when they were applying to my previous company. Okay. And cover letter, because cover letter should always be ready. I'll tell you why cover letter is important to be ready. So when you're applying for companies like, so there is a company called Give India, right? They're into donations and all of that. So over there, if you're applying, they will ask you, why should we hire you? They'll ask you, why should we hire you? Why do you want to be here? What makes you amazing? All of that, right? If you apply to companies like Amazon, even they will ask. If you apply to companies like Group of Hotels, I remember I was talking to someone from Four Seasons, and even they had this. So if your cover letter is ready, again, it's exactly like that Excel sheet. You just copy paste whatever section you want into that small question box that they have asked, right? So a cover letter will always keep information ready for you. You can just keep copy pasting and responding, right? Another thing is when you're sending an email, say I tell you that, okay, there's an opening at this company and I know this person and you're a friend, and you're like, okay, Kritika, can you refer me? I'm like, you know what, this is that person's email ID, put me in CC, and you send out your resume to that person. You don't just attach a resume and you send. You put a nice cover letter to it, right? You write something that, okay, I got your reference from this person. I know you're looking out for this role, and this is what I bring to the table. Why don't you, things like that. Cover letter writing examples. Okay, I'm making notes. I'm going to send these links to you. I have not made whatever information, whatever material I had prepared, it's there on GLabs, but I don't think I prepared something on cover letter. So let me, I remember a good article I had come across. I will send that to you all. Glassdoor has some very good articles on how to write a cover letter. Some very good articles. I will still send it to you all. Okay, let me take some questions. Okay, how to apply? Okay. Simply search the company. Yeah, okay. You guys have responded to each other's questions. That's really nice. Can you share a sample of cover letter? Okay, sample. I don't share samples, guys. Remember, Kritika does not share samples, because this is student mentality. If I give you a sample, you will use it as a prototype and you will try to build something that matches that. But no, these things are something that these are all branding collateral that have to be very unique. You need to make your own. I'll teach you how to do it, but you make your own. I will not share samples. I showed you some samples. Next time I'll not show that also. A video resume is a great idea. If you're applying through calm.work, remember there was calm.work that came and spoke. So if you in calm.work, they expect you to have a video resume. And it's pretty cool. Yeah. I did my bachelor. Copy paste, okay. Can you tell on which sprint do we find career building session on GLab? There is a career material in every, I think there is second last sprint. I think the second last sprint for LTC. I think, yeah. I think you can ask Ramanand or Saurabh. They should be able to help you with GLabs. I only make the material and share it with them. I go through a lot of DSJDs, even at entry level. They will all ask for 2 to 3 years. Don't worry, apply. It's okay. Building your resume is learning how to sell yourself. Yes. Actually, you should share. No, I will not share a resume, guys. I will not share a resume. This is something I've learned. I'll not share a resume. I have 3.5 years of lectureship in engineering and then 5 years of maternity break. How to start my resume? Start your resume like anybody else, Prangya. You were on a break and it's absolutely fine. You had a very legitimate reason for being on a break. Make sure you highlight your project so much that people don't look at your break that much. You're no different from others. Your resume should be like the others. Is the resume same for permanent job and an internship? Yes. Because internships come with pre-placement offers nowadays. How can we add volunteer experience? In the volunteer section or in additional information section? Video resume. Okay, so what is a video resume? A video resume is basically like an elevator pitch. Now you will say, Kritika, tell me what's elevator pitch. Okay, I will share a link for that also. An elevator pitch is basically like 90 seconds where you need to present yourself. What do you bring to the table is what anybody wants to know. So the idea is, example, say you enter the elevator with someone who you want someone to hire you, and you get like 90 seconds because that person is going to a certain floor and you go to that floor because that person is going to that floor. You get 90 seconds to present yourself. What do you do when you present yourself? You talk about what you don't spend too much time on what you have done or what all you know, but you definitely talk about how you can bring any value to that person and why this person should even continue listening to you or talking to you, right? Why this person should even spend any time talking to you or even reach out to you later or open your email because you said that, okay, after our conversation, I'm going to send you an email. Why should this person open your email? So in an elevator pitch, ideally you identify the hero. What should be the hero? The hero is your work. The hero is you, or the hero is the other company. It's actually fine. You can choose any of them for who the hero of the conversation is, but make sure the whole conversation is around that. Okay. Yes. Very rightly put, Chitranjan. Yes. So that's what an elevator pitch is. Your video resume should ideally talk about I'm sorry guys. Your video resume should ideally talk about who you are. Don't spend too much time talking about your family. I have 3 sisters, 2 brothers. I come from a rural background, or I mean, don't do that. Your video resume has to just talk about, okay, I am this person. I come with an expertise in this. I have an educational background in this, but I have worked myself on enough projects to convince you that I have these to validate these certain skills I have. I don't know, guys. I'm just making this up. You can talk about, okay, so I have done some really interesting projects in the finance domain, which is your domain. And I really think this is one business problem I can solve, I'm assuming. And also, talking about domain is really important, if you come with a lot of experience, because then you don't want to switch your domain and your industry. Try to switch one thing. Transition will be easier. So yeah, these things you can put. Loom is great. Loom is great for your video resume, because then you can show also some things on the screen when you're talking. So Loom is great, but sometimes you can just use a normal camera also And also always remember your video resume. If you're keeping it ready, always have it in your landscape mode and not your portrait mode, because landscape mode is something that goes well with laptops and phones both. Portrait mode goes well only with phones. And if you have a video resume ready, you might want to embed that on your resume. Like, why not? Like on your text resume, you can embed it over there. So that's actually a cool thing to add. If you can't make a portfolio, you can do that. Whoever brought this up, thanks. It's helped everybody, I'm sure. Okay. Next question, should I include a picture? I shouldn't have given the answer, but again, this is debatable. What do you all feel, yes or no? Okay, so this is the only question where everybody's answering. Okay, so Sudeep says not necessary. Guru Rat says what is the harm? And Harinath says maybe not required. This is the exact representation of the population. All right, so yes, guys, like, why not? What is the harm? And also, it's not necessary. It's really okay. So this is my take on it. Yes, you should add, but it's completely your decision whether you want to add or not. But there is no reason for you to not add, because if you're telling me that, sometimes they don't sometimes they say that, you should not add a picture because they'll not take you because you're a woman or because you have gray hair, or they will use your photo, they'll get biased. You don't want to work in an organization that gets biased and takes you or does not take you because of your picture. So it doesn't matter if they're rejecting you because of your picture. You anyway don't want to work in a company that cares more about your picture, right? But adding a picture brings a sense of relatability. When I look at a resume and I look at a person's picture, chances of that getting imprinted on my mind is higher than just a text resume. Then when I open this person's LinkedIn, I see the same picture. Guys, same picture. So the LinkedIn and the resume have the same picture. Automatically, again, reinforcement. I see the same picture again. So this image is getting reinforced. And then when I talk to this person on a video call, or when I meet this person in real for a meeting, it's almost like, hey, it's almost like, okay, it's almost like, hey, I feel like I know this person, right? So that's how relatable a person's resume or a person's candidature can become because of a picture. But then again, please don't put Shadi ka photo. You're wearing a embroidered sherwani and you have a pagdi. Please don't put that. You have sunglasses on. Don't put that. Selfie with mom. Don't put that. I have seen, guys, this might sound funny, but it's really true. I have seen all of these, blood group, all of these I've seen. Please keep it very simple. Please crop it. Please make sure it's not hazy. It's not too blurred. You can keep it black and white if you want. Monochrome is absolutely okay if you don't want to have it. You don't have a colored one. Sometimes like an informal picture can look very formal if you make it monochrome. So you can do that. Who puts wedding pictures? Sandeep, I will send you some on Slack. I'll show you. Yes. So people very much do that. All right. Ramanan, can we mute everyone? Thank you. Okay, so yeah, please keep it professional and keep the LinkedIn and your resume and your GitHub profile picture the same. Yes, even Guru has seen. Yeah. Okay, so how about adding references? Okay, you do not add references on your resume because you're sharing contact information, and it's no more okay for you to share somebody else's contact information on open platforms like this, because what you're doing is you're literally opening the house for the entire world to just contact anybody they want, right? So don't do that. Keep it handy when it's required. Certain companies ask for references, but guys, LinkedIn recommendations work as references now. Now people don't really ask for references. They go through a LinkedIn recommendation. So you can always approach the right people. Again, the right people is not asking mummy and mommy or asking dad and chacha ji. They are not the right people. The right people would be people who have taught you, your mentors, even your school teacher and professor would be a better person, because these are all people who can vouch for your professional skills, right? They can back what you're saying, that okay, I have these skills. Your colleague, your senior, your ex-boss, these are the right people. Even if it's a classmate, it's okay. If in your masters, if you had a classmate you worked with and this person has closely worked with you on a project, even that person is a good person to ask for a reference on or a recommendation on your LinkedIn. But do not ask your singer friend. Yeah, awesome. Client, yeah, of course. I'm so sorry I missed clients. Clients are amazing recommendations. If you have a client give you a recommendation, yes, thanks, Guru. Yes, clients, definitely. Guys, all of you are open to give me a recommendation on LinkedIn. Looking forward. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. All right, that's it from my end. Wow, that was quick. Not so quick. It's almost 10, I think. Yes. Oh, give and take. Good business. This person has a business acumen. No, I will not give in return. I'll give in return when I've seen you've done really well in Creatum. Okay, guys, I want to ask, you all had employability assessments, right? Tomorrow your mark sheets will be out. How was it? We have 5. Ramanan, do we have 5 minutes or do you want me to close the session?
We have guys. Do not leave the session. Post the session. Tejas is here from Obviously AI, so he will have a connect with you for another 10-15 minutes. So just Kritika, you can continue for another 5 minutes. Then Tejas will take it over.
Awesome. Hi, Tejas. Hi.
Yeah. Once you
Hi, Kritika.
Awesome, Ramanan. I will just complete one small thing and then Tejas, you can take over.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Awesome. So guys, you all attended the employability assessments, right? I hope you all did, because I saw some good attendance there. I'm assuming the tests were difficult this time, but I was very impressed. The scores were not so bad. I saw some good performances. If you haven't attended, don't worry, guys. We do it every month. Once you have attempted at least 4 of them and you have good performance, the job board opens for you and all that. So don't worry, November last week, you'll have the next one. And you should attempt it. We will try to host it over the weekend this time. Ramanan told me that learners prefer it over the weekend. So yes, Ramanan will do it over the weekend instead of a weekday. Good attendance there, but I definitely want to see a lot more of you over there. Yes, new learners, don't worry, it's coming your way. Guys, employability assessment is extremely important. If you don't attend, if I don't have your scores, if I don't know who my star learners are, I can't share your profiles with hiring partners. Some of them don't ask for a job board. They just say, Kritika, give me your 10 best people. So you want to be on that 10 best, right? So please work hard, guys. Also, even if you're new into the domain, if you just started learning, it will tell you where you stand. It will give you a good idea of whether your learning is right or not, whether you're looking at the right things or not when you're studying, when you're learning, when you're practicing. You get a good idea. So kuch nahi to do it for yourself, right? And of course, do it for me also. Please attend your employability assessments. Yeah, and don't tell me I have a shadi to attend, so I can't attend your exam. This is better than shadi. It's more important. Okay. So please do that. अरे कहाँ देना है बताएंगे ना. Ramanan will send all details to you. It will happen in November last week. It happens in the last weekend of every month. Bata denge, Mayam, don't worry. Look out for messaging from me and Ramanan. Read everything I send. Also, guys, there's a career fair. There's an all-women career fair that I mentioned. So I hope you people have, all the women here, I hope you all have registered. If you haven't, I'll put it on chat. Until then, I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun. This was a very long session. But usually, Kritika is very chatty and sessions are long when Kritika's talking. I just want to give you guys a lot of information. So I will send out the cover letter reference blog. I had written a blog on how your references should be. I'll see if I can pull that up and share that. Definitely look up how an elevator pitch should be, guys, and we will share the links of where you can look for the CS decks, right? Awesome. Tejas, over to you. We are really happy you're here. I had heard about you. Please take over. We want to know a lot more. Guys,
Thanks, Kritika.
Let's welcome Tejas, guys.
All right, let me just go ahead and share my screen. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Tejas Shanbhag, and I've been working as a data scientist with Obviously AI. So, Obviously AI is a no-code machine learning tool, and the company is based in Berkeley, California. So, typically, a data science project, like it takes a lot of time. So, you need to start off by collecting the data. Then, usually, the data in the real world, it's not clean. So, you need to clean and pre-process it. Then, you have to try out several machine learning algorithms and tune them. So obviously AI will do everything for you, and it just happens through a drag and drop interface. So you just need to upload the data, pick a column to predict, and that's it. So rest everything, it will be taken care by obviously AI. So I'll just start off by speaking something about machine learning and the various subdomains. So machine learning involves finding patterns from the historic data set and using those patterns to predict the future. So these are some of the subdomains in machine learning. So we have supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. In supervised learning, you have a data set and exactly you know what you're going to predict. So supervised learning is further divided into classification and regression. So regression involves predicting continuous values, whereas classification, it involves predicting discrete values. So some of the use cases of regression can be predicted the sales prices of house or growth prediction, and classification, like we can predict whether the customer has churned or not, or we can detect fraudulent transactions in the banking domain. So similarly, in unsupervised learning, you have a data set, but you don't know exactly what you're going to predict. So unsupervised learning is mostly related to finding patterns in the data, and it is more involved like grouping similar data points together, and like it is widely used in the industry for customer segmentation or to understand the buying behavior of customers in the retail domain. Finally, we have reinforcement learning. So in reinforcement learning, like it is more related to robotics, and it involves making the robot move and navigate in the environment, and this is widely used in self-driving cars and autonomous vehicles. So for today, we are going to take an example of the telecom customer churn dataset. So it has the data related to various customers and their usage. And finally, we have a column called as churn, which tells you whether the customer has canceled his subscription or not. So these are some of the columns which you need to have in the dataset, especially related to customers. So you need to have demographic features, usage, and transactional data. And these are some of the do's, like we have certain data requirements which is being uploaded to our platform. So the data has to be in one file or one table in a database. Similarly, there has to be very few missing values, and we should have the data. We require the data to have at least 1,000 rows and 5 columns, so that the machine learning predictions are more accurate and it makes more sense. This is the data that we are going to use today. So it is the AT&T telecom churn dataset. So each row represents a customer and each column tells you something about that customer. So if you look at the first few columns, like it contains the demographic information about the customer. So you have the customer age, whether he's senior citizen or not, number of dependents. Similarly, these columns represent the usage data, like what kind of phone service is using, what kind of internet service is using. And finally, we have the transactional data, which tells about his monthly charges, what is his payment method, what are the total charges. And this is the prediction column, which is the churn, which tells you whether the customer has canceled his subscription or not. So once you log in onto our platform, you'll be redirected to this screen. So this is the Make Predictions tab. So this allows you to select any historical data set that you have uploaded, and you can pick a column to predict and click on Go. So for today's demonstration, I'll be adding a new data set. So this is the Add Dataset option. So here you have several platforms available, like you can upload the data as a CSV file, or you can connect to your Dropbox account, or you can connect to your favorite databases like MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, or CRM systems like Salesforce and HubSpot. So I'm just going to go and upload the data. So first you have to enter a display name. And the first row should represent the column names. And there are certain file requirements which are necessary. So if you are directly uploading the CSV, the file size should be less than 25 MB. Then there should be at least 1000 rows and 5 columns. So in case you have a huge data set and your CSV file is more than 25 MB, then you should probably consider first uploading the CSV file to your Dropbox account, and then you can link it with your Obviously AI account. So once all the file requirements are met, you can click on upload file. So it will take a couple of minutes depending on the size of the data. So once the data is uploaded, you have a preliminary summary about the data. You can use the file explorer to view the distribution of different variables. So if I select gender, you can see there are about 3,500 males, 3,488 females, or monthly charges. So most of the customers have the monthly charges between 18.1, 28.3. Similarly, you have the information about the missing values in the data set, or if you want to change the data type, you can do so using this drop down. And this portion tells you that the file is fit for prediction. This means that all the columns, they are found to be fit. So in case you have 10 columns in your data set and like 3 columns, they are not fit for prediction because of different reasons, like there are too many missing values or there are too many unique values, then this area will be highlighted in orange and it will say the file can be improved. And suppose if you use 10 columns and out of those 6 columns are not fit for prediction, then this will be highlighted in red and it will say that the file cannot be used. I'm just going to. So this is the final view. And here you have the option to select the column. So for this case study, it is going to be the customer churn. And similarly, we have the advanced view toggle tab. So for example, if you want to exclude some of the columns from the predictions, you can do so just by dragging this from the columns to use to columns that won't be used. So for now, I'm going to use all the columns for predictions. Similarly, you have the filters tab. So for example, you want to include only those customers who have monthly charges more than 10. So you can do so using the filters tab. I'm just going to click on start predicting. So obviously AI will clean and pre-process the data set. After that, it will try out several machine learning algorithms and it will return the algorithm with the highest accuracy after tuning the hyperparameters. So this is how a typical prediction report looks like. So initially you have the drivers tab. So drivers tab gives a list of the most important features that were used for prediction. So here the monthly charges was the most important features of all the columns that were used. And if I select churn as yes, it shows the distribution of the monthly charges. So as we can see that as the monthly charges increases, the probability of the customer churn is also increasing. Similarly, you have the personas tab. So this tab is used to make prediction on a single customer or a single entity. So let's say we have a new customer, Bob, who is a male, is a senior citizen, and let's say he has monthly charges of $100. So once you save this persona, you can see that Bob has about 84% probability of churning. Similarly, we have the export predictions tab, which allows you to export your predictions to your Google Drive. And this is the batch predict option. So let's say you have 15 new customers who have subscribed today. And this is the batch CSV file. And you have all the columns that you use to train the data, but you don't have the final prediction column. So let's say you want to predict how many of these customers are going to churn. So for this purpose, you can use the batch predict file. I'm just going to go and upload this file. And once you download the CSV, you will see that this file has been appended with 2 new columns. That is the predicted churn and what is his probability. So if you look at the first row, we can see that he has about 54% probability of churning. Similarly, we have the advanced analytics tab. So it means it shows you the various course of action taken to get to the outcome. And in case you want to learn more about the algorithm, the performance of the algorithm, or the accuracy of the model on the train, validation, and test sets, you can get those information using the text specs tab. And we have something called as data store. So here we have uploaded some of the publicly available data sets from Kaggle. So in case you want to just play around, you can pick any column for prediction and you can just add a prediction report. So yeah, this was a brief demo of our platform, and please do let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Tejas. Guys, please ask questions. I think that was pretty informative.
Hey Tejas, Harinath here.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, like how different is it from Azure ML?
So
Like
if you
any
look at Azure
advantages
ML,
to-
like it is, yeah, sure. So if you look at Azure ML, it is like quite complex. You need to choose a compute cluster, a compute target. So based on your data, you need to select the machine specifications, plus you need to pay for each and every service that you're using. And also it requires you to have a little bit of technical expertise. So when I used Azure ML, you need to like set the auto ML config. You need to choose the number of clusters or the accuracy metric. However, on our platform, you just need to upload the data and you just need to pick a column to predict. That's it. So rest everything, like it will be taken care of, obviously AI. So we'll try out a couple of machine learning algorithms. We'll do hyperparameter tuning and we'll return the algorithm with the best accuracy. And very soon, like we are going to launch a new version of our product. So right now, the accuracy metric is just accuracy and the mean squared error in case of regression. So we are going to add several new evaluation metrics like precision, recall, AUC, ROC, R square, and we'll give the user an option to choose the algorithm as well.
Okay, thank you. And would they be available in the free version or would they be restricted to paid?
Yeah, everything will be available in free version. The only thing is that there is a limitation to the amount of like the size of the data which you can upload. So I guess the free version can support about 50,000 rows of data.
Okay. Thank you, Tejas.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, but it is asking for the work ID, email ID only. Means in normal email ID.
Yeah. So we'll be launching a new product maybe in the next 2 weeks. So that will allow you to like sign up using your Gmail. So in case if you want to try it right now, like you'll have to use your work email.
Okay. Thanks.
And Tejas, another question here, like would we have control over the visualizations?
Yeah. So right now we are just in the first version, we are just having like the bar charts. However, we are extending the visualizations in the next version. So you'll have a more better view of the predictions. So you'll have the actual versus predicted value. So we are adding a couple of new functionalities.
Okay. And for few columns, there was a metadata saying that it is fit for prediction and not fit for prediction.
Right.
So for the columns that are not fit for prediction, is there any data cleansing or data pre-processing? That's available.
So in case like if the percentage of missing values is less than 20 or 30%, then we'll impute it. Or if like the percentage of missing values is very high, then like that it won't contribute a significant information in prediction, like, and it will be skipped. So it won't be used for predictions because like it doesn't make sense if you use a column which has very high percentage of missing values.
Right. So all the pre-processing is handled, and then after that, it says whether it is ready to, whether it is fit for.
Even if the data is imbalanced, so if you see this particular example, the number of people who are not churning is significantly higher than people who have churned. So in that case, we also do some data balancing techniques like oversampling, undersampling.
So would we be able to choose which method, like oversampling or undersampling, or with imputation? Like sometimes we would want to use mean, sometimes we may want to use median. Would we have control over that?
Right now, like there won't be, you won't be able to control that. Like we'll do, everything is automated. So we'll try out
Okay.
different techniques like oversampling, undersampling, and we'll try
Okay.
out several algorithms. Yeah.
And you will try
But in the
out
newer version, yeah,
methods?
in the newer version, you will have the option to choose the algorithm, and you'll have access to several precision and like evaluation metrics.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So is there any option to choose the columns what based on which prediction has to be done, or it's only
Yeah.
text section?
No. You have the option to pick a column. Like you can choose any column that you want to predict. And in case if you want to exclude some columns from the prediction, you can do so using the advanced view. So you can just exclude them.
Okay.
So Tejas, is this kind of a replacement for the coding as a skill altogether? What is the implication of using this tool? Who are the target audience?
So we are
Because
targeting the small and medium scale businesses. So they can't afford a dedicated data science team. And like it takes a lot of time to hire data scientists or to collect the data, pre-process, build models. And it takes a lot of time. So we are basically targeting small and medium scale businesses. So they can just, even a person with absolutely no coding experience can use our tool. So it just requires you to upload the data and pick a column to predict. That's it.
So Tejas, the hyperparameter optimization, it is taken care by the tool itself, right? So there is no
Yeah.
intervention.
No. It will be taken care of tool. It will be taken care by the tool. So we'll try out different hyperparameter tuning techniques like grid search CV, randomized search CV, and we'll return the algorithm which gives the best accuracy on it. So like you won't be able to control that.
Okay.
And guys, also I'm adding a link to the support articles which we have added recently. So in case you want to learn more, you can do so using this.
Yeah.
So at any given point of time, so we need to feed the data set in order to fetch the result, right? So
Yeah,
it's not a process where you have a Dropbox or a file that is continuously being updated, and this tool, from the back end fetches those updates and generates the
yeah,
result.
we have that option in our Pro Plus plan. So if you connect to your databases, so you can set it up like you can refresh it weekly, daily, or monthly. And every time the data is refreshed, again, several algorithms will be tried out and a new prediction report will be generated.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, sure. But it is just available in the Pro Plus and the Pro plans. So it's not available in the free plan.
Does this have a code viewer kind of a pane where, for example, you generate a stat, and if there is a statistician or if there is a programmer who is aware of this, uh, uh, can he look at that piece of code which has been executed to fetch this particular result?
Yeah. So on the Pro Plus plan, it is available. So you'll have access to all the code files as well.
Oh, okay. So whatever I ask is more into the Pro Plus.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So also we have a dedicated data science support. So sometimes the client has a data which is very much unstructured. So it requires a lot of pre-processing and trying out several sophisticated algorithms. So in that case, we do have a dedicated data science support as well.
Okay, so this tool is more focused into generating stats or fetching results for a simpler and structured data set. Depending on your complexity and how the frequency of analysis is required, you will probably refer to the data science team that you have, the support team that you have.
Yeah, right. So in case like most of the things, it will be handled by the tool, but sometimes the data is very much unstructured, or it requires a lot of joining different data sets together, pre-processing. So in such cases, we do have a data science support.
Okay, thanks, Tejas.
Tejas, this work is only for machine learning or also for deep learning?
So right now it just supports machine learning. So in the future, we are also planning to integrate deep learning and NLP.
You are doing it through means this means you can say the means creating a pipeline in the Python code.
Yeah, right. Everything it is done using Python mostly. But we'll soon be supporting natural language processing and deep learning.
Can you show us the slides once again?
Yeah, sure. You want to see the slides? So this is the portion of the page highlighted in red. It is something which we support currently, and will be soon extending to deep learning or unsupervised learning.
So Tejas, you refer to that there will be a place where the stats get stored and refreshed on weekly basis. Is this kind of a weekly dashboard that is shared across multiple teams or something of that sort?
I'll just show you this. Yeah. So this is the prediction report. And if you use a Pro Plus plan, and if you connect to your databases, you will have an option called as update. So if you click on that, so you'll have three different options. You can either update your data daily, monthly, or weekly. So for that, you need to connect to your databases. So like it won't be supported by CSVs.
Right. So the stats that you just the page that you just showed, is this kind of a dashboard and can be shared across multiple members of the team itself?
So it is a prediction report. So you can get a shareable link. So if you click
okay.
here, you'll get a shareable link.
Okay.
So to view this, you don't need to be a member of Obviously AI. You can easily use the shareable link and you can share it with anyone, and he'll have the access to the prediction report. So he won't be able to make predictions, but he can view the dashboard that you get.
Okay, that's great. That's really insightful. Thanks, Tejas. That's all I had from my side.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. If there are no further questions, I'll turn it over to you, Ramana.
Thanks, Tejas. Seriously, it's a very inspiring project. Means it's means inspiring system.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really useful. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so if no any other questions, so I will share the deck. So I have the deck what Tejas had shared with you. So I will share the same on Slack for your reference. So you can all of you can have it and have a look at what Tejas was speaking about. Okay, so thanks Tejas, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone.